When your desires are thrilling to you, then you're in a good vibrational place. But if your desires feel uncomfortable, then you have some vibrational work to do, yes? Because the goal is that your desire feels normal and natural, that your desire is believed by you. That's the best way of saying it. Because if you desire something and you don't believe it, then the thoughts that you think that are disbelief of your desire are resistance to your desire, and it slows everything down. You can hold yourself in a holding pattern about a desire for a long time. Life causes you to want it, and you've been wanting it. You've been launching these rockets of desire. You hear us talking about that. You heard us talk about your vortex, this vibrational reality that you've been building bit by bit all of the days of this physical experience. So you have accomplished a vibrational reality that can come into full manifestation and will come into full manifestation depending upon what you are doing vibrationally in relationship to it. In other words, once a desire occurs to you, you know that feeling when you say, oh, I know what I want. I know. Once that feeling hatches within you, so much of the creative process has already taken place. You've already sifted and sorted. You've already had enough experience to personally know what your preferences are. You've launched many vibrational rockets that have gone into this, what we are calling a vibrational reality. It's such a real thing that we began calling it your vortex, because we wanted you to accept it as something that is real, even though you can't translate it yet with your physical senses, even though you can't yet see your desire sometimes, or hear it, or smell it, or taste it, or touch it. It still is a reality that you can sense emotionally and vibrationally. And so once you know that there is a desire that has already become a reality that will become full manifestation, in other words, you can turn those thoughts to those things. You can turn the desire that is thought to the desire that you can see and hear and smell and taste and touch. In fact, you will. But you can't keep contradicting it by noticing its absence, or by continuing to face the current reality, which doesn't include the full manifestation of it yet. You get what we're talking about? You have to sense it and know it and trust it and believe in it while you're wanting it. You can't want it and doubt it, or want it and question where it is, or want it and question your own validity or your own worthiness. You can't keep saying, I want it, but where is it? I want it, but why is it taking so long? I want it, but not many have that. Or I want it, but I am not yet capable. Or I want it, but I don't see it yet. You can't continue to notice the absence of something while you encourage the presence of something. But the encouragement is encouragement of your ability to sense it. Because once you get a whiff of it, once you get a feeling of it, that's what faith is. Once you get a feeling of it, and you are able to lock in on that feeling of it, then it must continue to become. Then it will continue to become. Well, it's already continuing to become. That's why you knew you wanted to begin with. So we're just going to explain that quickly, and then we want you to talk with us about what you want. So you're more than these physical bodies. You get that more and more? There's a larger part of you, a non-physical part of you, who existed in non-physical before you came into this body, who still exists non-physically, even though you're in this body. And you, whether you know it or not, have a constant relationship with that non-physical part of you. Humans have been calling that your soul for a long time. We call it your source, your inner being. But that non-physical part of you is aware of you right now, and aware of what you're thinking about, aware of what you're talking about. And there is a vibrational relationship between you and what you're thinking about, and the non-physical you and what the non-physical you is thinking about. And those two perspectives, the relationship between those two perspectives, is what makes up your emotion. So when you are in sync, in tune with your non-physical being, what happens is you feel the resonance of it in the form of positive emotion. But when you're not in sync with it, you feel the discord of it in the form of negative emotion. So as you understand that you have a relationship with this non-physical part of you, and you care about being aware of it, and you care about syncing up with it, now you care about utilizing your guidance system, and now you are well along the way to fulfilling everything that is important to you, because your inner being knows where you stand in your physical becoming in relationship to everything that you want, everything that you have created through sifting and sorting, everything that you have vibrationally launched that has been gestating and becoming, and that will translate into a full-blown reality. All of that is known by your inner being. Your inner being knows where you are in relationship to the money you want, and knows the path of least resistance for you to receive the money that you want, and the relationship that you want, and the well-being of all manner that you want. Your inner being knows where it is and is guiding you continually, calling you through your path of least resistance. Now, that path of least resistance means through the path of your disbelieving, through the path of your not yet believing. Because when you believe it, there's no resistance, and it becomes. So if it's not becoming quickly and just the way you want it, it's because you have beliefs along your physical path that stand as resistance. But that's all right, because your inner being knows what beliefs you hold that are in the way of what you want. So your inner being is calling you over and around and under and through those beliefs. Your inner being is calling you to what you want through or along your path of least resistance, along your path of resistance, calling you in the least resistant way along your path of resistance, calling you through all the disbeliefs that you have. So sometimes you'll be called right smack dab into the middle of a big old belief that you have that is keeping you from what you want, so that you can see how ridiculous that belief is in relationship to what you want. Your inner being will say, come over here and stand right in the middle of this and have lots of experience around it until you decide that's just unnecessary. Esther says it almost every day. Well, that's unnecessary. Well, that's completely unnecessary. And yet I've carried it around and coddled it and nurtured it with thoughts and ideas and examples for such a long time. And looky there, big old wad of resistance right there, right there. Didn't want to see it, but nice to know it's there. Now I can move around it. Or I can stop giving attention to it so that it will dissipate altogether. I can stop keeping it active in my mix, because you know how trails are. You keep moving along on your path, don't you? You ever hiked Muir Trail? You ever hiked some of the magnificent trails in this nation or otherwise? Some trails that go for miles and miles and miles and miles and miles. And have you noticed as you hike them or as you walk them? Esther likes the walking trails more now. The hiking trails, not as much, but the walking trails. But do you notice that the things you see along your trail don't keep coming with you? Oh, look, there's something completely unwanted. Come with me. I'm going to walk another 100 miles on this trail. You might as well come too. When you walk a real path, that path doesn't keep coming with you. But this path that we're talking about comes with you everywhere you go, because you keep it active through the thoughts that you think. So if you've got resistance on your path and you keep focusing on it, it just stays with you. It will just remain in your way until you stop keeping it active. And you're the only one who can keep it active. Feels to you that your mate does it, doesn't it? If you'd stop talking about that, we could leave that behind. And we want to say to you, if you'd stop talking about your mate not talking about it, you could leave it behind. Oh yeah, but my mate will keep talking about it. Maybe, but you don't have to listen. You don't have to keep tripping over the things that other people think are important. You don't have to continue to stay focused upon the things that are in your way. You don't have to stay focused upon the things that are in your way. And your inner being is guiding you out into the clearer space all the time. So by the time you've sifted and sorted and you've launched lots of rockets of desire, and your vortex is full of all of these points of attraction, and your inner being stands there with them, and law of attraction is gathering all of the cooperative components for all of the things that you want, and this vortex is gestating, it's becoming more ready for you while you're getting ready for it. And the readiness that you are accomplishing is you're believing more, even though you can't yet see it, because you've come to trust the laws of the universe. You understand that there's a vibrational reality that is in the state of becoming, and that as it is getting ready for you, you must get ready for it, which means you must become more allowing, you must become more trusting, you must become more believing, you must become more ready for it. You must become more willing to accept the goodness that wants to flow into your experience, that is flowing into your experience. And if it were not for the barricades and blockages that you've put in the way because of beliefs that you've picked up along the way, these desires would manifest fast. So we want you to focus upon the idea of your vibrations turning to thoughts, and your thoughts turning to words, and your vibrations turning to thoughts, and your thoughts turning to things. We want you to think about the process of how things become, because you've decided that you want them, because the universal forces are all with you, because the energy that creates worlds is flowing through you, and most of all, because you are a creator who came here to create. Yes, in concert with your inner being, but you are the leading edge of creation. That's why you're out here, where the contrast inspires you to new ideas, to new decisions, to new preferences, to new desires. And when those desires hatch within you, they are a vibrational force that non-physical energy joins. And they are a reality that you can sense at first and see fully eventually. But you've got to get into that trusting, believing, knowing mode. And then you get to experience the sweet spot of watching your ideas turn into the things that represent the manifestation and the actualization of your life experience. You get your hands in the clay. You are the molding of the energy. Notice how robust your economy is, and compare it mentally to what the economy was like 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or even 10 years ago. Economy is burgeoning. The world is awash in abundance, in money. And yet there are no pipelines trucking it in from other planets. These are the resources that have always been here, that are actualizing because of the thoughts of those like you. So if you will accept that you've created so much, we would like you to see your vortex as we know it to be. And if you will care about the way you feel, so that you can get yourself into what we are calling the receptive mode, up there in those high frequencies, in the pure energy, where your ideas are moving freely and where your ideas are turning to the things of your life. But you must not block them with contradictory thought. You cannot want it, but. You must not argue for your limitations. You must not continue to tell it as it is, if as it is not as you want it to be. You must tell the story the way you want it to be until you've practiced the story into your expectation of it being that way. And when you believe it, when you expect it, when you know it, when your vibrational frequency is without resistance, then there is this smooth transfer from your vibrational reality into your mind, into your ideas, into your impulses, into your timing, into your right place, right time, into your hands-on, deliberate creating of your own life experience. Not one of you said, I'll go, but I want someone else to create it for me and I'll just inherit it. Not one of you said, I won't be good at it when I get there, so I'll just wait for others to create it and then I'll just take it away from them. Not one of you said, I will go forth into the physical experience and I won't be good at this, but I will just blunder into it. Every one of you said, I'll go into my body and I'll explore and I'll decide from my personal experience. And I'll launch rockets of desire, and I know that the non-physical broader part of me will tend it. And I know that by the natural laws of the universe, that what I've decided will become bigger and bigger and bigger while I am tuning and tuning into it, until the next logical step for me is to receive an idea about it. And you know you do that all the time. When the idea of desire flows to you, you know that fresh feeling when you know you want something and it feels so good. You know that exhilarating, satisfying feeling when an idea comes. Ooh, that sounds so good, until you kill it with your doubt or your logic